So, Kander and Ebb, yeah. Interesting, huh? Think about that melody. Now, these are dissonant political times we live in. There's a lot of dissonance in the air, right? People are up in arms, and there's a dissonance in the sense of our political fabric. And we think of that sometimes as bad, although a friend said to me recently, and I thought it was interesting, they said, because there's so much controversy, people for the first time in a long time are really politically involved in our country, and are really thinking about what's important. And so there was a good side to the dissonance that we're experiencing. The same is really true in music. We think of consonants, major chords, all major chords. Bernstein, as I've told you before, said that the reason that a minor chord sounds so sad is because in the overtone system, if you play any note, you also hear these notes in it. They're all in that one note. If you don't believe me, I'll hold these down silently and listen. Hear all that ring? That's because I'm holding these notes down. Likewise, if I play that note silently and go, that's all ringing on the low note, not on all those notes. All that chord. So the problem is if you get a major chord, because it is a major chord, and you play a minor chord, then you hear the major against the minor. Why is that tense? Because of something that's the very soul and heart of dissonance, the minor second. When a pitch is a half step apart and you hear them at the same time, it creates a dissonance. And the harshest dissonance. In a certain way, even a major second is a dissonance. Well, our ear is more used to that one. This one's a hard dissonance. It's all over jazz, all over contemporary music, all over music theater, and actually all over classical music as well. That dissonance is something that signals something, that tells us something about the nature and the emotion of the music. It's not all happy-go-lucky. It's not all... Right? So there's also very, very much tension and emotion of a different kind of music. And one of the reasons I said we'll start with Kander and Ebb, there's the essence. That minor second, right in the melody. He had it coming. Hear it? So what is it about? About a bunch of women who killed their husbands. So naturally, there's a dissonant sense in the music that Kander and Ebb so brilliantly wanted to reflect. And it doesn't stop there with Kander and Ebb by any means. I mean, I'm looking at right now, lucky to, how lucky can you get? There's some great moments of dissonance. Just even the first one. A lot of dissonance in a phrase like that, but also when the singer comes back and they realize that maybe they're not quite so lucky. How does Kander and Ebb set that? Listen to how he sets it. That's about as dissonance as you want, right? So the dissonance is there in the orchestration. Minor seconds all over the place, and major seconds. So Kander and Ebb's music, and all music of contemporary music theater, is informed by dissonance. And just even in David's wonderful piece from Evan Smith, there were these that major seventh, which is so prevalent in jazz, is a basic dissonance. But our ear has learned to accept it. It wasn't quite so prevalent in Chopin's day. But Chopin, I think, is responsible for bringing more dissonance into music. It's always been present. But he had a way of using dissonance, in my mind, that was groundbreaking. And I was looking at a Nocturne this week, and I took some music up to Teresa's and Garrett's, and they have a beautiful grand piano. I can't tell you the setting, these two-story high windows overlooking a lake. It's one of the most beautiful places I've ever had to play the piano. So I was looking at some nocturnes, and I started thinking about this one. Now that sounds fairly consonant to our ear, but if you analyze it, in the pedal, here, it's there. In each little cell. So the sets are all over. Of course, you have to balance it with some consonants or we go a little nuts, right? But listen to this next phrase, variation on that phrase that he creates. First of all, it's not only harmonically dissonant, because the melody goes instead of, now it goes, what half steps? Against the accompaniment. Oh, I messed it up, sorry. Now, it's not only dissonant in the harmony, it's dissonant in the rhythm. And Chopin does this a lot, in that we're used to thinking of rhythm as coming to the lowest common denominator. In other words, if the lowest common denominator in this is the 16th. Those are eighths in the left hand. So we're in 6/8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the lowest common denominator is the 16th, so it'd be so each eighth gets 2 16ths. And everything pretty much conforms to that until we get to this, and he puts 5 notes in the right hand against 3 in the left hand. So there's even a dissonance in the rhythm. I'm not doing it very well, so. That time it was 7 against 3. So Chopin uses this sense of not having things be constant respect to reflect emotional difficulty. And that's just a small example. Chopin wrote a set of preludes. Basically, Bach kind of set that pattern because he wrote a piece called the Well-Tempered Clavier, which had preludes and fugues in every key. His intent was to show that each key on the piano at that time with a new tuning system, well-tempered one, could actually be played. Because before that, in even tuning, certain keys were actually impossible. F sharp was nearly impossible. It's so out of tune because of true tuning. Once they modulated so all the steps were of equal tuning, then we could be playing every key. That was Bach's intent. Chopin's intent in a prelude is something that uses a single motive as a motivating device. You know, so. In that case, it's that simple rhythm with a simple melody, or moving chords. So the sense of that chord. So a prelude uses one kind of accompanimental or rhythmic or textural sense in it. So it unifies. But Chopin wanted to greatly expand the harmonic palette and the emotional palette of music through his preludes. The second prelude is one of the most dissonant pieces ever written before the 20th century. There's that second right there. It's in the middle voice and the bass hand. Listen. When he puts it with that, and they get worse. Some of them are. How dissonant is that? And how hard that would have been on the ear of those days, because our ears had jazz and contemporary music theater. To hear this in the 1830s would have been something amazing. Listen to this prelude. It's the second prelude of the Chopin preludes. constant, but he chooses to create that second against the bass. Probably, arguably, that's one of the most dissonant pieces that existed before the 20th century. So, dissonance is a very important part of music. It sets mood, it creates mood. So I've talked about this before in terms of falling seconds creating a sense of loss. But I'm going to play, just to end this little segment, the famous E minor prelude, which is all about dissonance and half seconds. And the left hand is constantly moving down by half seconds. And harmonies you didn't expect. This also would have been very, very different for the listeners of the time.